next, moving on to brows. So for that, it's pretty straightforward. I have one brush and one spoolie. So the brush I use is the Sigma Winged Liner E06 brush. And for spoolie, I love the spoolie on the Anastasia Brow Wiz brow pencils. I think I forgot to mention that I use the Sigma brush with my Anastasia Dip Brow Pomades. Another mention for eyelashes and for brows would be the Real Techniques Lash Brow Groomer. I love to use the metal comb to run it through my lashes to remove any clumps from using mascara. Also helps in separating the lashes to give a more open, wide-eyed look. For eyeliner, I tend to prefer using gel eyeliners, and for that I have 4 brushes that I prefer using. The first one is the Louis Vuitton LY24 brush, and I love this just because of its shape. So it's like this tapered brush, which just comes to a fine tip in the gel liner. So I do love using this brush. The second brush that I tend to use is the fine liner brush by Real Techniques, and as the name suggests, it comes to a very fine tip. The next 2 brushes that I tend to use, at first glance they do tend to look like they're fat eyeliner brushes and that they wouldn't be good to apply a thin line. But on the contrary, the day I need something really natural that doesn't show up much, I tend to gravitate towards using these brushes just because the tip is small enough to get into the gap between the lashes. At the same time, it's not fine enough as these two, which don't have enough support to stay there and glide on, if you know what I mean. So imagine maybe this brush. I don't know if you can see it maybe. So imagine the tip touching here, but as you move around, it has a lot more give, so then it tends to move around a bit and have the line crooked. But on the other hand, if you have something fatter like this, it has a larger surface area there to stand, and then when it moves along, it doesn't bend as much. So I don't know if the demonstration was helpful, but trust me, I do tend to use the fatter brushes when I want a thinner line. And the last one, I don't know if I mentioned it, was the Sigma E05 and the Real Techniques Pixel Point eyeliner brush. So to apply lip products, I have 3 brushes that I enjoy using. The first one being the Sigma Lip Brush L05. The second one is the Real Techniques Detailer brush, which has a similar shape to this, just that it's longer and pointier. And the third one, which is more slimmer and pointier, is the Real Techniques Retractable Lip Brush. So on the go, I generally prefer to use the Sigma brush just because the cap comes off and then you can toss this in your purse. This one is also good, the Real Techniques one, but sometimes the cap cracks as mine has. I don't know if you can see that, and then it just comes off in your purse. So I just prefer using the Sigma one for travel. So all of them are basically similar in shape and size, as you can see, for the most part, and they apply lip products evenly. And lastly, brushes for eyeshadows. Now for cream products or bases, I tend to use 2 brushes. These are both synthetic and by Real Techniques. The first one is the base shadow brush and the second one is the dome shadow brush. And I love using synthetic brushes just because they're easy to pick up cream products, and the best part is that they're easy to wash off, so that's the reason I prefer using them. Now for powder eyeshadow brushes. I have quite a few. The first 2 are these flat eyeshadow brushes, which are typically for picking up eyeshadow and depositing maximum color payoff. So I really like using the e.l.f. Eyeshadow brush, which looks like this. And my second pick would be a MAC 239. This is the miniature size, which came in a holiday set a long time ago. Now for eyeshadow that's more acting like a base, so something that's close to your skin tone, or if you want to use something in the crease to warm up the look, I tend to use the Wayne Gauss brush number 3. Just this relatively big fluffy brush with the eye. It's good because in 1 or 2 sweeps, it more or less covers the entire eyelid. So I like to use this for really applying the base shadows and also for blending out any harsh edges. Now to apply eyeshadow to the lid and also to blend it out, I tend to use these kind of brushes. One is the MAC 217, the other is the Sigma E25. Both are similar but also different. I have a comparison on my blog. I'll leave a link to it in the description box below if you'd like to check it out. But again, these two are great because they are fluffy enough to pick up a decent amount of product and also to blend it into the crease and apply it into the crease. Now for some crease work, I have 3 brushes, of which 2 are by Louis Young. This is the LY38. The third one here is the LY38B, so it's like a tiny baby of the LY38. And then here I have the Wayne Gauss brush number 19, I believe, yes. So again, depending on the eye look, you can vary. If you need a really strong crease, like a cut crease, you would go with something small like a 38B. But if you want a regular crease look, I usually apply the product with the LY38 or the Wayne Gauss brush number 19, but then go in with the 19 to blend it out. And then follow it up with the other brush we spoke about, which is the number 3, to really blend it out. Now for applying eyeshadow and blending out under the eye, or the lower eyelid I should say, there's no other brush that I have used which is as good as the Chikuhodo eyeshadow brush. It is amazing, doesn't scratch my lower eyelid. So this is my absolute favorite for the lower lash line. Finally, for tight lining, I have 2 brushes. The first one being a slimmer, thinner version, which is the MAC 263. And here's a fatter version, which is the Real Techniques Bold Metals Collection 202. Again, both do very similar things, so it's difficult to choose between the two. If one's dirty, I just pick the other one. So those were my top makeup brushes and tools. I really hope this was helpful. If you have any makeup brush favorites that I've not mentioned or that you think I would like to check out, do leave them in the comments below. I'll be sure to check it out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!